low, getting countered by Barracuda. That is a 3-for-2 trade, and they're going to keep fighting it as after all is popped. Now Barracuda has no escape with his hog down, but Omega is going to try and get this Afro before she can do anything. The back off comes out, and she's going to look for the heal. Barracuda rotates back in. Omega is going to get picked up, though, by Failure by Design. Now Barracuda's going to fall. They took the Fire Giant, but they got wiped 5-for-3, though. What a crazy fight. Once again, great play.
Yeah, just so much happening there. I mean, Cognitive made a great run after they got that fire giant. But just that goal deficit was just so high that they weren't exactly able to make enough happen to overall win that engagement and win that fight in the long run. They did, however, slightly dip down the goal difference, though.
Yeah, so I want to see what happened there. Was that they actually got what they wanted, okay? They started Fire Giant, and then Cognitive came to counter it, but then they jumped off the Fire Giant, but people were still in the pit, and they kept the leash. All right, they were able to kill Thanatos in the back. Rambozo doing a very nice job of juking out, and Neath, Failure by Design, was able to pick it up. As look at Stealth, though, getting very greedy, looking for the Gold Fury steal. Down Frag is going to secure that, however. But like I was saying, I lost my train of thought because of that Gold Fury.
Gold Fury OP, please nerf.
I know, right? But that mini Purd hogged just had to be a millisecond early. Because after his hog, Dare to Care jumped in and hogged before any more damage was even given to the Fire Giant, pretty much. And just very unfortunate. He tried to time it perfectly and just was not able to. And
yeah, it was really unfortunate for the members of Down to Frag, because that could have very well been at least 2 Phoenixes, if not game. But because they didn't successfully keep that, Cognitive Gaming was able to turn that fight around quite beautifully, I might add, and then keep themselves well planned in this game.
Minipurn getting in a very bad spot, though. Right, sorry about that. He almost got caught out, but he's too tanky. And yeah, like you said, though, the gold lead they had really just allowed them to continue the fight even after Cog stole it.
So now at that late game point where both teams are really hitting their caps, only one side is able to really say that they're starting to have full builds, though. So that's the difference right now.
We do have an engage
going on.
Looks like
Annister is going to be caught out here, as a Zeus Olden ultimate was going to be used to pick up that kill here. And so now, are they going to go ahead and elect to try and push down middle lane to make something happen here? As there are still 3 members of Cognitive right next door to them in the jungle. I don't think they know it just yet, but it looks like they're going to meet. Everyone's going to meet up at this Phoenix here, so we're going to really see something interesting here. Some Kong goes up into the air, and it doesn't look like they're going to do too much to defend this, as Aphrodite ultimate comes out and prevents the Tear from doing a lot of damage to the squishies here. He's actually going to have to ultimate out, and Bacchus is going to go ahead and try and get a stun on some people, but it looks like everyone's going to have to just back out of the situation, and this mid Phoenix is, unfortunately, for the members of Cognitive, going to fall.
Yeah, and one thing to note is Down to Frag has no ultimates, while Cognitive does have the Quack and the Stinger and Intoxicate, 3 very good team fight ultimates. Minipurn's going to stun out Omega, trying to body block, though. They need to be careful if they get wiped here. Fire Giant spawning in 40 seconds as Failure by Design is going to take a ton of damage. Quack is going to come out, not going to kill anyone, but Aurora getting very low. Minipurn in the back, doesn't have his ultimate available, is going to fall. That is their hog, and this is bad because Fire Giant is spawning in 20 seconds. They did get 1 Phoenix, but the chase is on. They're going to have to back at the very least, and their hog is not available. As Rambozo is going to fall. We actually see Thanatos in the air. Will he be able to catch up and execute? Failure by Design. No, he's not. They're just going to jump onto Fire Giant. And, oh, excuse me. Thanatos is keeping up the chase, though the silence comes out. Aurora needs to be very careful here. I don't think he knows they're all around the corner. Annister very low. The root's going to hit Barracuda. Now the blink by Tyr and the turnaround. But Snoopy's little Cupid is going to ult away safely. And Fire Giant is up.
Beautiful. That was a very beautiful ultimate by the Aphrodite to save her from taking any more damage. But unfortunately for Down to Frag, they might have to give up this Fire Giant.
They have no hog.
Exactly, they have to give it up.
Yeah,
they could
Omega
try.
just too tanky right now. Just going to be able to frontline them without being too scared. But what people have been doing recently on not only solo laners but junglers as well is picking up a second Hog 3 to contest in case your support goes down. And Aurora here electing to go Fist of the Gods. You know, Hog not a very viable pickup on Aphrodite. And I almost like to think if they had a second Hog there, they would have had a chance to contest.
Yeah, for sure. If Odin had that hog, especially considering his CC immunity during his ultimate, I feel like that would have probably benefited the team a little bit more, especially in that scenario. But at the same time, he probably had his own individual uses for that Fist of the Gods that probably helped him get a lot of those assists that he has now. So it's definitely a back and forth argument as to whether or not you would agree to having the Fist or having the Hand of the Gods. But in that particular situation, obviously Hand of the Gods would have been more appreciated. So now we're going to see Cognitive make their push to try and catch back up in this game.
Yeah, one thing I want to note though, they did get the Fire Giant, but Down to Frag still has their safety nets in towers, and we actually see a nice blink by Omega, but failure design instantly going to backflip, and we actually see Afro here in a little bit of an oddball spot. She could get turned off. Oh, Omega getting very low. Will the damage come out before he can get the Lawbringer off? No! Will he get picked up? He does get picked up by Neith's auto attack. Now we see Minipern in there, going to keep up the chase. Dare to Care actually, Barracuda going to get stunned out by Minipern as he keeps the chase alive. Neith comes out. It does stun him. Aurora trying to chase. He's going to get the 3 off. He's going to cage. One more auto should finish him. He will fall, though. Now Anderson is going to go in the air. Does not want to fall to that Odin. 2 for 0 trade, and that is just the power of Down to Frag right now. That is the first time that Cognitive has been even able to push and under tower now, splitting up. Down to Frag's lead is just too much for them to handle, even with Fire Giant. As look at middle, Dare to Care is going to get picked up. That's a 3 for... Oh, this might be game. They might try to force it here. Only the Quacken ult available for him, and they are going to go for it. They're going to go for the game. As Anderson is going to get stunned out. Quacken a little early, not going to hit anyone in the center. Anderson is definitely going to fall here. MLC the only one alive. They're not going to chase him, though. They're going to go, and this is going to be game. Down to Frag taking out Cognitive in game 1 of these finals. We still have at least one more game coming up, but wow.
That game,
Shadow
game.
Boy.
And you know, I said it at the beginning of the game, I like the Afro pick. I said it during the game, I like the Afro pick. And all I can say is look at the player healing of Aphrodite.
Oh.
31,000.
My
that is incredible.
God.
That is a number that is saving so many of these team members in these fights, and not only that, but keeping them going in these fights. So once you had the lead at a certain point in the game, that Aphrodite was there to make sure that you were able to keep going further and further with that lead. Keep extending these team fights, keep extending these objectives, taking these objectives. So you were able to continually put the pressure on with this Aphrodite as your pocket medic. And, you know, not to take away anything from the high amount of damage that Neith brought, that Zeus brought, that Sun Wukong as the support brought. But I just have to look at that 31,000 on the Aphrodite and say that they would not have been able to do as much in these team fights if not for her.
I agree. And like you said, the Afro pickup, you know what, Snoopy's Little Cupid played lights out on her, something a god you almost never see. She brought it in, and it's just so amazing. And like you said, Sun Wukong only actually 64 damage off of top damage on his team. Barracuda, though, look, going to put out 27k, the top damage by far, but the tankiness and sustain coming out because of Afro was just too much for him to handle it. And look at Afro. He had to play that perfectly. He only had Heavenly Agility, which is a 90-second cooldown, had no beads to counter the tier if he went on, and he went a very greedy build. Not only do more, but went Warlock Sash and then Hide of the Urchin, really the only defensive item, and, you know, played it very well.
And, you know, the one thing I have to say I'm really surprised about is the lack of anti-heal on the members of Cognitive Gaming. I mean, you know, not even a Brawler's Beat Stick, nothing like that. Just literally nothing. And it was just a little interesting to see, because if you look at how many times they could have nearly just wiped out the last two members of, Down down to Frag, it just didn't happen. I mean, just look at the death numbers of the key characters on down to Frag. 3, 0, 1. It was just very hard to secure the kills, and I just feel like anti-healing would have helped the situation. But again, very well played, especially by MLC Stealth. The combination between Dare to Care and MLC Stealth with the bounce up into a Quack and Ultimate was just superb. It was on time. It was beautiful. It was amazing. Barracuda himself did a very good job spreading the honey as well as landing the stingers and doing a lot of damage himself. And so it was just an all-around good game by both teams. But at the end of the day, one team had to win, and it was the team that had the Aphrodite that was playing amazingly.
Yep, you called it at the beginning, you called it in the middle, and you called it at the end. Aphrodite playing amazing. And we are going to pass it over to a waiting screen while we wait for these guys to get into game 2. And we're here to get ready to bring you some more action.
Hello, lady. Cannonball!